Hey, Patriots fans! We're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved New England Patriots. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. This way, you'll stay updated and never miss any breaking news or exclusive content. The rumor mill is spinning at full force, and this time it carries a thunderous name that echoes across the entire league: Derrick Henry. Whispers are getting louder, conversations are heating up, and insiders are starting to connect the dots in a way that feels almost too dramatic to ignore. The idea that Henry could be heading toward the New England Patriots isn't just surprising. It feels like the kind of move that reshapes an entire conference overnight. This is not just about a player changing jerseys. This is about identity, power, and a shift in how teams in the AFC might have to prepare for battle. Imagine the sheer force of Henry lining up behind a system that thrives on discipline and physical dominance. It almost sounds like a perfect storm waiting to happen. Fans are divided, analysts are cautious, but there is a growing sense that something big is quietly brewing behind the scenes. The Patriots, a franchise known for calculated moves, might be preparing to unleash something nobody truly saw coming. As speculation grows, the narrative becomes even more fascinating when you consider the timing of it all. The Patriots have been searching for a new offensive identity, something that can re-establish their presence as a feared unit, and bringing in a powerhouse like Henry could be exactly the spark they need. Sources close to the situation hint that conversations may have taken place quietly, away from the spotlight, in a way that only an organization like New England could orchestrate. There is something almost cinematic about the possibility: a dominant runner joining a team that has historically thrived on adapting and reinventing itself. It is not just about filling a gap, it is about sending a message to the rest of the league. If Henry truly makes this move, it signals intent, aggression, and a willingness to challenge the balance of power in the AFC. Opposing defenses would have to rethink everything, from their formations to their mental approach, because stopping Henry is never just about one play. It is about surviving an entire game of relentless pressure. What makes this rumor even more intriguing is how it aligns with the Patriots' legacy of surprising decisions. Over the years, they have built a reputation for making moves that initially raise eyebrows, but ultimately redefine expectations. Bringing in a player like Henry would not just be another transaction. It would be a statement that the franchise is ready to return to a more physical, ground-dominated style of football. There is a certain nostalgia in that idea, but also a modern twist, because Henry is not just any running back. He is a generational force capable of taking over games in a way that very few players can. The AFC, already stacked with talent, could suddenly become even more chaotic, with New England inserting itself back into serious conversations. Fans are beginning to imagine scenarios where Henry breaks through defensive lines wearing Patriots colors, and that image alone is enough to fuel endless debates across sports media and social platforms. At the same time, there are skeptics who question whether such a move truly makes sense from a strategic standpoint. They argue that the Patriots have been leaning toward a more balanced defensive approach, and integrating a player with Henry's style could require significant adjustments. But that is exactly what makes this rumor so compelling, because it challenges conventional thinking. What if the Patriots are not looking to fit Henry into their system, but rather reshape their system around him? That kind of shift would be bold, risky, and potentially revolutionary. It would mean embracing a style of play that prioritizes physical dominance and time control, something that could disrupt the rhythm of even the most explosive offenses in the conference. The idea that New England could pivot in such a dramatic way adds another layer of intrigue, making this rumor feel less like idle speculation and more like a carefully crafted possibility waiting to unfold. Another element that keeps this story alive is the reaction from players around the league. While no one is speaking openly, there are subtle hints in interviews and social media activity that suggest awareness of the situation. When a name like Derrick Henry starts circulating in connection with a team like the Patriots, it naturally grabs attention. Defensive players, in particular, understand the implications better than anyone because they know what it means to face Henry in full stride. The thought of preparing for that kind of physical challenge within a system known for its strategic precision is enough to make any opponent uneasy. It is not just about talent. It is about the combination of talent and structure, and that combination could be devastating if it comes to life. The AFC could be heading toward a scenario where every matchup against New England becomes a test of endurance as much as skill. As the speculation continues to build, one thing becomes clear. This is more than just a rumor. It is a storyline that has captured the imagination of fans and analysts alike. The possibility of Derrick Henry choosing the Patriots represents a collision of power and tradition, a moment where the past and the present could merge into something entirely new. Whether or not it ultimately happens, the mere idea has already sparked conversations about the future of the conference and the evolving strategies of its teams. People are starting to look at the Patriots differently, wondering if they are on the verge of unveiling a new chapter defined by strength and resilience. And at the center of it all stands Henry, a player whose presence alone is enough to change the narrative of any franchise. The question now is not just whether this move will happen, but how it would reshape everything if it does. The second wave of speculation dives even deeper, exploring what this potential move could mean for the broader dynamics of the league. If Derrick Henry truly lands in New England, it would not just impact one team, it would send shockwaves across the entire AFC. Rival franchises would be forced to reassess their strategies, particularly those that rely heavily on speed and finesse rather than physicality. The Patriots, with Henry in their backfield, could become a team that dictates the pace of games in a way that disrupts even the most explosive offenses. This is where the conversation shifts from possibility to consequence, because the addition of a player like Henry is never isolated. It creates ripple effects, influencing everything from defensive schemes to roster decisions across the conference. Teams that once felt comfortable in their approach might suddenly find themselves scrambling to adapt to a new kind of threat. There is also a psychological aspect to consider, one that often goes overlooked in discussions about player movement. The presence of Derrick Henry in a Patriots uniform would carry a certain weight, a sense of inevitability that could influence how games are approached even before they begin. Opponents might enter matchups with a heightened sense of caution, knowing that one mistake could lead to a momentum shift powered by Henry's relentless running style. This kind of psychological pressure can be just as impactful as physical dominance, creating an environment where the Patriots gain an edge before the first snap. It is the kind of intangible advantage that has defined successful teams throughout history, and it is easy to imagine how it could resurface in this scenario. The combination of mental and physical pressure would make New England a uniquely challenging opponent. Meanwhile, fans are already painting vivid pictures of what this partnership could look like on the field. Social media is flooded with mock scenarios, highlight edits, and passionate debates about how Henry would fit into the Patriots' offensive scheme. Some envision a return to a more traditional, run-heavy approach, while others believe the team could blend old-school power with modern creativity. The beauty of this rumor lies in its flexibility, because it allows for multiple interpretations of how things might unfold. It is not a rigid narrative, but rather a canvas for imagination, and that is why it continues to gain traction. Every new perspective adds another layer to the story, making it feel richer and more complex. The idea of Henry in New England is not just a possibility, it is a conversation that keeps evolving with every passing moment. Critics, however, remain cautious, pointing out that rumors often take on a life of their own, growing beyond their original scope. They argue that while the idea is exciting, it is important to consider the practical challenges involved in such a move. Integrating a player of Henry's caliber into a new system requires more than just talent. It demands alignment in philosophy, coaching, and execution. But even these criticisms add to the intrigue, because they highlight the stakes involved. This is not a low-risk scenario. It is a high-impact decision that could either elevate the Patriots to new heights or create unforeseen complications. That tension between potential and uncertainty is what keeps the story alive, fueling ongoing speculation and debate. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes clear that this rumor is about more than just football. It is about transformation. The Patriots have always been a team defined by their ability to adapt, and the addition of Derrick Henry would represent another evolution in their identity. It would signal a willingness to embrace change while staying true to the principles that have defined their success. This balance between innovation and tradition is what makes the story so compelling, because it reflects the broader dynamics of the sport itself. Football is constantly evolving, and teams that succeed are those that find ways to stay ahead of that evolution. Henry's potential arrival in New England could be a perfect example of that process in action. In the end, the story remains unresolved, lingering in that space between rumor and reality where anything feels possible. Derrick Henry choosing the Patriots is not just a headline. It is a narrative that captures the essence of what makes sports so captivating. It is about anticipation, speculation, and the endless possibilities that come with change. Whether it ultimately becomes reality or fades into the background as just another rumor, its impact is already being felt in the conversations it has sparked. The AFC stands on the edge of a potential shift, and all eyes are on New England as the story continues to develop. For now, the question remains open, inviting fans to imagine what could be, and to wonder how one decision might reshape the future of the league. And as the speculation refuses to cool down, a new layer of intrigue begins to take shape around how exactly this move could come together behind closed doors. The New England Patriots are not a franchise known for impulsive decisions, which is why the growing noise around Derrick Henry feels even more deliberate than usual. There is a sense that if this is being discussed, even quietly, then it is being evaluated with precision, with every possible outcome already mapped out. That alone adds weight to the rumor, because it suggests this is not just fantasy talk, but something rooted in calculated thinking. The Patriots have always valued control, tempo, and physical execution, and Henry embodies all of those traits at an elite level. The idea that both sides could be aligning in philosophy makes the speculation feel less like coincidence and more like a natural convergence of interests. It is the kind of potential partnership that seems obvious only after you start connecting the dots. What truly amplifies the situation is the possibility of how this move could redefine matchups across the conference in a very practical sense. Defensive coordinators would not just be preparing for a running back, they would be preparing for a system built to maximize one of the most punishing styles in the game. Henry is not a player you simply contain. He is a player you endure, and over time that distinction becomes critical. If the Patriots fully commit to that identity, games could transform into battles of attrition where opponents are slowly worn down. This is where the rumor starts to feel almost strategic on a league-wide level, because it challenges the current trend of speed-focused offenses. Instead of trying to outpace opponents, New England could be positioning itself to outlast them, controlling possession and dictating rhythm in a way that disrupts even the most explosive teams. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. There is also an undercurrent of legacy tied into all of this, something that adds emotional weight to the conversation. The Patriots have long been associated with adaptability and success, but in recent times there has been a growing desire to see them reclaim a certain dominance that once defined their presence. Bringing in a player like Derrick Henry could symbolize more than just a tactical adjustment. It could represent a statement of intent to reestablish that aura. Fans are not just thinking about yards and plays, they are thinking about identity, about what it means to face New England again as a truly imposing force. Henry, with his relentless style, fits perfectly into that narrative. He is not just effective, he is intimidating, and that psychological edge could become a defining characteristic of this new chapter. At the same time, whispers suggest that such a move could also influence how the Patriots approach the rest of their roster construction. Adding a dominant running presence often creates a ripple effect, encouraging adjustments in offensive line strategy, play-calling tendencies, and even defensive planning. It becomes a foundational piece around which everything else is built. This is where the rumor takes on an even broader dimension, because it hints at a possible organizational shift rather than a single acquisition. If Henry becomes the centerpiece, then the Patriots might be preparing to build a system that revolves around maximizing his impact at every level. That kind of commitment would signal a long-term vision, one that goes beyond immediate results and focuses on sustainable dominance. Meanwhile, the reaction from within the league continues to evolve in subtle but noticeable ways. Players and analysts alike are beginning to treat the possibility with increasing seriousness, even if no one is confirming anything outright. There is a growing sense that this is not just noise, that something tangible could be developing beneath the surface. The mere idea of Derrick Henry joining the Patriots is enough to alter conversations in locker rooms and media circles, because it represents a shift in balance that cannot be ignored. Teams that once viewed New England as predictable might suddenly find themselves dealing with a completely different challenge, one that requires both physical resilience and strategic adaptation. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.